Hey guys, hope you had a wonderful morning. Just going to go over the technicals for CKB. So let's get to it.
Take me to the moon. I wanna be with the stars. Send me into orbit. Yeah, she said she never been in love. All she ever did was give a love. Everyone they only take a love. So you scared of love? I don't blame you, love.
All right, so what we got? We got this impulse. All right, so we got this impulse. If you would have been doing what you're supposed to, and if you're using this, remember this is an exit strategy. So everybody was in there asking, should I take profits? You're not looking at the technicals. You got to do the work. So I'm about to show you. Y'all gonna keep seeing that, man. The answers is already given to you guys. Anybody who's been paying attention, if your targets would have already been set. Look at this impulse. All right, what do we know with an impulse? We measure it, right? So if we measure the impulse, we get a what? We get an upside target. This could have been an opportunity for somebody who wanted to take profit. They can, and they can look for opportunities to get back in. So I know a lot of people like, hey, can you chart such and such? No, how about some of y'all start charting too? Get it? Start charting. Post your charts. That's how you're gonna get better. Become self-sufficient. All right, we got our stuff. Play it. What happened? Targets hit. What do we say? When targets are hit in an extension, you're more likely gonna have a pullback of some sort. What do we get? A pullback. But when you look left, where did it bounce off at? Recent area of what? Resistance. It's following what? Market structure. See? Look at this. This is what? Resistance, push down, break, come back, retest. What does that suggest? This suggests that we're probably going into an uptrend because we had a major bounce off this area. So we possibly could be doing some higher highs and higher lows. Look at this. You got a low, high. All right. Lower high, higher high, and then we got back down to another lower high, and then now we got a higher high, lower high, higher high, lower high, and we look at the trend up. But let's say you want to take profits. Maybe you want to take out the original investment. Let's say you put $3,000 in, and all of a sudden now it's up, I don't know, 12,000. If you wanted to, you take out your initial investment, leave everything else in the equity, and let it run. And then you take your 3,000, your initial, and then you build your other positions. Yes, that's another strategy. I mean, I could write it, I could put it in, but if that's what you want to do, you can be smart about it. Use everything is all math. Just make sure the math makes sense. That's all. Yeah. So with you knowing that, it's just basically a what initial investment strategy. All right. If you get into what we call um, so if that strategy you want to use, like I said, just take your initial investment out, let equity run. It's up to you. Um, Remember, the double take profit is not literally just for doubling. You could do a triple, quadruple, 10x, whatever. You could do percentage gains. If you want to do percentage gains, do percentage gains. If you sell yourself, hey, if this thing goes 300%, I'm going to take 30%. If it goes, I don't know, 600%, I'm going to take 10%. Whatever that you want to do, just make sure the math makes sense and it's for you. But yeah, everybody was asking, and I was sitting here like, I was out last night. I was like, why don't I just use the extension strategy? Like, what are they asking? Like, what's going on? And then you already know with the log growth, like I'm not even paying attention to this. I care less about what this thing is doing right now because we already got the what? We already got the upside targets for this impulse. All this is a correction of this major impulse. Yes, somebody back here could have took what profit. I mean, we could go and look at that. What you fail to realize is that this right here is somewhat similar to what y'all experiencing right now. You had a previous impulse, had a correction, had a rally, had a what? A high. I mean, this was a high. All right, this is a higher low, then a higher high, higher low, and then you already know what's going to happen because I already showed you. But we can what? We can measure that. Like, keep it simple, guys. No, I'm gonna do something different. We're gonna start doing like this. Just go ahead and have a whole thing instead of having one target, two targets, three. Take this off. Let's play. Broken dreams, broken trust, and broken wings. I know you hurt, but let me fix it. Damn near perfection, right? So what we talking about? Ain't nothing to discuss. You can either follow the plan, the rules, or just take the chance of just thinking and feeling and having gut feelings. You won't last long with that, but you could do that. It'll work every now and then. But look at that perfection. People thinking that you know, like you would use some form of a you know prophet or psychic or whatever that you can see into the future. We're just using probabilities with mathematical equations, and we're just using a tool. I'm not about to sit here and do a Fibonacci in its rawest form. That takes a genius level mindset to try to do the Fibonacci in its purest form. They got books that is 500 pages long built off that theory of sequence of numbers. It's ridiculous. We could just use a tool, just like the calculator. So clearly, whoever would have been back here and saw these impulses, they could have what? Taken some profit in these areas. And they could have waited for a particular pullback. Now, with this pullback, it could have stopped right here and it could have kept going. Well, that's the risk you need to determine when would you get back in to buy. Because if you're waiting for a magical pullback like this, what if you don't get it? Like some people are waiting for it to come back. I know some people waiting for Sheeb to come back down to some ridiculous low number. You got to understand the market. The market may not be in that type of a rally. You know, it may be a no. It may be what we call a aggressive rally. Aggressive rally. It never pulled back to the 61% or 78 of the retracement level. So think about that. That's the risk, but you got to be willing to take it. So you got this run up right here. Wait for it to stop, and it just went on to the moon. And then what would happen was you would have liquidated your whole entire position. And then down here, you're waiting for orders to come down here, but it never comes. But luckily for this one, it did come. So you're good. That's why y'all have to establish your rules. There got to be rules to this. You got to have an alternative. What if it don't come down here? That's why you see me scaling in. The perfect example is when I scaled in on LCX. So on LCX, when it came, I think I was where did I get in at? I want to say like the 55 cent region, somewhere in here. All right, and then it started to drop. And what did I do? I started adding, started scaling in, and then when it got down here, like I loaded all in this area because I was like, this was a zone the way it can't get no better than that. It is what it is. If it go lower, if I got some more money I want to invest, I do it. But if not, I'm satisfied. So I added in my final orders in this area and that massive growth. I'm good now. But look where it's coming back down. Like this to me, you remember my first one was at 55 cents. So this to me is still buying zone for me. Okay. And remember, this is a cup and this is a handle. So this still is a bullish move. And of course, these are upside targets for this impulse. But remember, this is an impulse too. And you can measure that. So, so, so that from this target, that's what you got. All right. So that's that. Of course, we expect to go higher over time, but that's what it is. So, man, follow the rules. If you don't use these extensions and stuff, just use market structure. I mean, this is what market structure would look like. You already see right here, you got a potential zone that price could come to. So you have a box here, got up here. Of course, you got one right here too, but I don't want to put too much on there. But you get it, all right? Boom. You see what happened? Look what happened. What happened? The zones that we had marked up, they were hit. That's market structure. Simple. So what's the next major target? Up here. It needs to break its high. And that is actually a target too. So people get up here, they make that as a target. They may get out of certain positions, or they may ride it, whatever the case may be. But hope that video helps. Um, ask questions. That's the best way to learn. But you gotta do the work too. All right, have a great one.